Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the State Hockey Centre at Jeps Cross. My name, as always, is Dave Webb. I'm joined in commentary today by Jamie Holland, the one and only Dutchie. Good afternoon, Dutchie. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dave. What a wonderful day to be at the hockey. The weather's nice. There's some blue skies around, and we've got a wonderful battle ahead of us. Port Adelaide, 7 in a row.
Looking for number 8.
And a repeat of last year's grand final, Dave.
It is a repeat, but as we look down, where it's at just above the teams doing the lineup, you look down at that Adelaide side, and there is a massive injection into that side, and that's wearing the number 9 shirt.
Maddie Spano, absolutely. Mickey Spano and her
sisters. Maddie's come along as well, yeah.
Absolutely a huge injection in terms of strike power, the highest goal scorer in the league this year, and brings not only her goal scoring, but her energy and her work ethic and her hockey IQ for a young person. She's debuted for the Hockey Roos this year, so it's been a big year for her and the club.
But it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because they've gone back and forward, these two teams, throughout the year. Adelaide most recently getting over them in 2 weeks ago. But I was talking to Mickey before the game. Funnily enough, she's not nervous. I think that's what separates the elite from the normal. She's not going to be overwhelmed by today. But I did say to her, you've got to deal with the apple yards today. You have to deal with that Port Adelaide spine today. And she kind of sort of looked, and it was the first time I really saw a chink in her armour.
Yes.
She knows that today is a big day.
Absolutely, Dave, and she has played in 5 previous grand finals. For someone so young, just out of the under-21 age group, she's played in some grand finals for Adelaide Uni, Premier League. She's played for Burnside, and she obviously has played at that international level. So she knows how to handle pressure, but there's probably a little weight of expectation that she might be the X factor. Yeah,
and it's amazing. We talk about her, and she is just out of under-21s. She has got a whole heap of time ahead of her, but it's like she's a household name already. So we are looking forward to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, sit back, relax, and get ready for the grand final of the Women's Premier League competition in 2019. Just to give you some more information, Port Adelaide will be wearing their very traditional black and white stripes. They will be attacking the right of your screen. Adelaide will be in their red, white and blue jerseys, attacking the left of your screen. And we were talking off air before we got there as we are underway. And Adelaide will look to try and break a 7-year run. Port Adelaide looking to make it 8 on the bounce today.
Another young star, Hattie Shand, already having her first touch. State under-21, nationally recognised, sassy athlete. She'll be commanding the centre for Adelaide.
Well, that's it. As they will go away, and Leah Wellstead will start to try and find the first circle entry of the day for Adelaide. She does. Port Adelaide drags it back. Can't quite get there. It's still in the circle. Harrison gets it towards goal, but Adelaide do manage to get rid of it. Try and find a way through.
Lauren
which they
Mutton,
do.
Very composed there in the circle, just took her time, kept a stick on the ball and went wide.
But it's a big, big ask for someone so young as Hattie Shand. They're going to ask her to command that midfield and go head-to-head with Sarah Harrison.
It's a big assignment, youth versus experience. Sarah Hammond probably in the form of her life, bowled really well on Wednesday night and is very fit. And young Hattie just out of, well, still an under-21 player. So a fascinating battle in the midfield.
They'll find Carter, but just couldn't quite get there in a 16-yard hit. But we talked about it before we came on air, and I know it'll be a pet passion of yours. Whichever one of these goalkeepers has the better day is a massive boost for their side.
Absolutely. They just have to keep their team in the game. So goals will go in today, and it's the matter of how they throw that away, reset, and make sure that they save the savables.
Grist wearing the captain's leg band for today. That's blocked by Appleyard. It's going to find a way through, but just comes off the foot of Grist. Appleyard with the overhead in front of Wellstead, but just too far.
The interesting battle too, Dave, to see the relative fitness of the two teams. The pressing takes a lot out of a team if they're willing to full press and really go at a defence as they're trying to outlet. So fitness will come into it today.
Well, we do see them swap, Brooke and Lindsay, the two Appleyards. They will swap around and give each other a rest so they can continue that work. Chris just losing it under a little bit of pressure.
A little bit of early nerves there from both teams, some basic skill errors, but I'm sure they'll settle down once they've all had their first touch.
Loose pass picked up by Shand. Sent out to the far side. Tarpe lets it go. Happy to reset from there. It is Magpie season as well, Dutchie.
Yes, watch your head if you're a cyclist.
Yep.
Or a hockey player.
Put under pressure and almost lost out. Back to Shand. Shand will send it to Grist. Grist goes down the line to Spano. First time we've seen her with ball on stick. And we'll just chuck it into the centre, really. Harrison gets it away.
Really interesting. Harrison could have gone down the corridor, but being the wise head that she is, chose to pull it across and get it out wide, away from danger.
Wellstead again will carry, try and take on Cooper. Goes behind, just the long corner. Talk about experience. We got through the week, we were given facts about these players. One of the facts they gave us was their age. We will not disclose that information. But Melody Cooper certainly has a fair amount of experience under a belt. Couldn't ask for anybody better back there on a day like today.
London Olympian. Went away for New Zealand and is also current Adelaide 1 coach. Adelaide Fire, I should say.
In the Hockey One competition.
Speaking of representatives, pretty much everyone on the field has represented South Australia at some level.
It was a fairly substantial list that we got through the week. Big long ball forward. Carter just didn't get there. Interchanges will be big on a day like today. It's not usual grand final weather. Sometimes with the grand final you expect it to be mid to late 20s and cramp and just exhaustion starts to come into it, but not so much today. It's like a regular season day. Wellstead again looking to carry.
Probably, thankfully for the players, from their perspective, last week was 27 on Saturday for the M2 to M6 grand finals, and there were older, less fit players with a lot of red faces getting around this time a week ago.
Deflection comes back and Appleyard will pick it up. Tries to pick a pass through. Can't quite get there and Cooper has to try and find a way through. Gets it poked away and will go for a 16-yard hit. Interesting
to observe, both have conceded 19 goals this year in the normal season, but Port with, I guess, more firepower, 93 goals for, and compared to Adelaide, 78.
And of course 23 of that 78 coming from the stick of Mickey Spanner. She went into the last game of the season tied and the other person was injured. There's a big challenge. Just on her haunches a little bit. Nothing malicious, just a coming together of buddies. Might take this time to talk about our officiating crew. Of course, Lockie Pole away to the left-hand side, and Michael Stark, hope I'm saying that correctly, in the very snazzy shoes.
Easy to spot.
Team bench official is Sarah Strower. Just had the wind knocked out of her, I think. Nothing malicious.
No, both had their eyes on the ball, so unfortunately that happens in team sport, but we reload. It's currently time out, but we're back in play. Jet Mallinson from Renmark having an influence early. I think second highest goal scorer, or maybe even highest goal scorer, young Juliet Mallinson, very industrious striker.
Again, Port will find a way through down into the bottom corner, and Anderson gets the free hit. Wellstead will stand over it. Plays to herself. And runs down a little bit of a blind alley, had it poked away, then played on. Wellstead, excellent close control, but poked away. Adelaide looking for a way out, and they've got one. Shand sends it near side, just couldn't quite bring it under control. And Port Adelaide will get the free hit.
Good press there from Spano. Forces the turnover.
Pennington working hard up front.
Spano
again will go. Sends it towards goal. Comes off a Port Adelaide stick, so it'll be a long corner.
So interestingly, Spano has scored 23. Jet Mallinson from Port, 22.
So it must have been Jess Mallison who just missed out on that last game. They were drawing, and then Mickey Spano got the one. Shand sends it across the front. Too dangerous though, so Port Adelaide will be able to relieve the pressure.
Let's see what Adelaide do on the press here, whether they're really aggressive and full press or they fall away a little. Nikki, a lot of her work is about pressing and trying to force a turnover further down the field. And this is a good spot to have, Port Adelaide.
Adelaide having to go back. Happy to do so. Pass intercepted by Harrison. Harrison will then look forward to Wellstead, just too far in front of her.
Interesting, Harrison out on the left rather than in the spine. Probably, arguably, best on ground last week against Seacliff.
Port Adelaide will have another chance, and you just get the feeling. I mean, the Port Adelaide corner is down away to our left, as per usual. The P pod is on the hill in front of us, but almost feel both sets of fans just a little bit nervous at the moment. Spano turns away and gets the free hit, much to the pleasure of those Sturk Desert Peas in front of us.
Yeah, they have the advantage of the fence to bang on, Dave.
Well, having been here before, the Port Adelaide fans don't need a fence. Wellstead will intercept. Now they can counter-attack. Adelaide have got plenty back there, though. Big, big challenge. And Adelaide will look to get away. Hung it short for Spano.
So Beck Nolan made that really strong intercept in the middle. Very seasoned player, probably played 15, 20 years of Premier League and has recently had a baby. So she's back from a year off with young Maxie, but she's playing a solid game at centre back for Adelaide.
Cooper sends it forward, just a little bit of a chaos ball. Carter does well, but then Harrison will take over. Harrison is hassled out of it, and again they just look for Carter. Georgie Bridgeland will go over to bring it in. We'll find Shand with two black and white shirts in opposition, but Shand manages to get away.
Good tackle by Celeste Ford there. Really conscious of the fact that Port Adelaide are good at protecting their feet around the circle. Low left hand, really strong tacklers.
Has been a cagey start. Last year it was blown open by an early goal. Cooper will lose out to Appleyard. Now they're away. Again, Adelaide have done well in keeping players behind the ball. Good ball forward to Appleyard. Shand just about got there, and then has to work hard against Appleyard. And the free hit just blocked off the run. Gives Port Adelaide a free hit in a very, very dangerous place. Lauren Mutton trying to find a way through. And Chloe Carter has come back to do some defensive duties. Knocks it away from Appleyard, and Port Adelaide still in a dangerous position. So we approach 5 minutes to go in the first. Plenty of time for Adelaide to reset and reform. Again, Adelaide will have to play out of the corner. Cooper. Wellstead again. Steals it off the stick. And another free hit for Port Adelaide. Do you get the feeling that Adelaide just don't want to concede?
They do look a little tense. I mean, they're playing their normal free-flowing one-touch hockey, so there's definitely an edginess about them at the moment, Dave.
So Port Adelaide, it will go back and they'll just relaunch from where they are. Pass just goes away and will release the pressure for Adelaide.
Port Adelaide can move the ball very quickly into their attacking circle. They've just got that lovely belief in each other and connection, so we just need to keep an eye on how quickly they move the ball.
I'm just looking at how Sarah Harrison has lined up, and you're very right. We're so used to seeing her almost as a defensive midfield, just sat in front of the back four, but she is patrolling that left-hand side. I wonder whether they've noticed something about Adelaide getting supply in from the right-hand side and are just trying to shut that down.
There's no doubt, Dave, that they would have looked at some video and that there would be a strategy behind that.
Harrison will chase.
If nothing else, to pull Hattie perhaps out of the corridor.
Harrison gets the free hit, can't get it past Shand. Shand looking to get it out to Georgie Bridgeland, but just misplaced the pass. Port Adelaide will go all the way back. Fechner.
Well done, Carly Hoffman, to take advantage of that loose trap. And as we were saying, the press, so important to both teams.
Just slips through and Port Adelaide are going to get hold of it. Will find its way to Beck Anderson, who just has it knocked away. Long corner. Fechner trying to find a way through. Can't quite get there. Appleyard does very, very well. Then finds someone, and then Appleyard looking for the return pass. Nice work between Beck Anderson and Appleyard. Lovely little reverse pass does get Adelaide over halfway. Harrison managed to get a foot out the way. And it's found a way through. They're 3-on-2. Spano's in the middle. Excellent challenge. Coming back, and it's going to be a Port Adelaide ball.
So Maddie Spano, older sister, finding some space down in the right pocket. And I guess that's a specialisation of Chloe Carter, just finding that loose ball in either pocket and penetrating the circle through the baseline.
Slashed forward and everybody will leave it, and it'll go all the way through. 2 minutes to go in this first period.
Port Adelaide with more circle penetrations and more inside 25, so interesting to see how that will change in the second quarter.
And again, it is something that we're seeing. Adelaide are almost determined to go down that right flank, and it is being shut off by Harrison. Chopped forward, well controlled by Appleyard.
Good umpiring to let that go too, Dave.
Oh, and then he give it. Much to the disagreement of the Peas. Again sent towards Wellstead. Couldn't quite get there, but it will be a Port Adelaide ball. Oh no, it's an Adelaide ball.
Good tactics with a minute to go to take the battle down to the other end. Doesn't always work, but there is a time for a pressure releasing ball.
And they will be able to see themselves through to the break, you would think. And it will be 0-0, you would think, barring a miracle. Harrison again managed to get her feet out of the way. Lovely little step back, then gets her head up, finds Appleyard. Appleyard will send it forward. Again, another good stick, that time from Eliza Gray. Anywhere will do for Adelaide at the moment. Appleyard. Fired into the middle to Wellstead. Couldn't quite get it under control. There's a foot in there, so the very last action and the possible miracle will be a short corner.
And there is a classic example of the importance of circle penetrations.
You can't get them if you're not in there.
Anxiety level goes up, basic errors turn into short corners. Port Adelaide just thrust that ball in from outside the 25 and they've got themselves a corner. First corner of the game.
Again, not unusual really, the way that these two teams have been playing. Double battery, 3-1 on the line. Injection comes, first trap, Appleyard swings at it, good save. And then came off a stick, and that will be half time. And we talked about the goalkeepers. There is a big, big statement and a start from Steph Fisher.
Very good save. Had to sort of sight that through traffic. Good, solid save. Be confidence boosting for her and her defensive unit to just keep a Port Adelaide corner out.
If it wasn't, I mean, we always liken these games to boxing matches. Round one, you would probably say that Port Adelaide get it on points. And literally they just held on by the stick of Steph Fisher in the last action of the first quarter. But Adelaide have looked dangerous at times.
Absolutely, and interestingly, Port Adelaide are really quite physically strong in terms of being able to hit the ball 40, 50, 60 metres to a target. Adelaide are more of a small game sort of team that build up 10 and 15 metre passes, build up 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. And both teams would have someone taking stats and counting inside circles, shots on goal, inside 25s and corners. And if they are your KPIs for that quarter, Port Adelaide definitely win the chocolates. So it'll be interesting to see if Adelaide can get some flow. As you said, Harrison started out left, then she slid back into the corridor, and whether she's deliberately going there to foil their attack or to drag one of our key players out of the corridor is yet to be seen.
And we should point out for viewers at home that Dutchy is red, white and blue all the way down to the marrow. So if the odd R slips in, we'll forgive him.
Having said that, I'm very respectful of the prodigious talent out there for Port Adelaide and the powerhouse that they are after 7 years.
So Shand will continue in that midfield role, and again, well, it didn't go out. She kept it in, which then puts a little bit of pressure on the Port Adelaide defence. Comes off an Adelaide stick though, and Port Adelaide will be able to build from there. Good interception in midfield. Beck Nolan. And picks a nice little pass out. Just got ahead of her again. Poked away by Port Adelaide. Slid through and touched by nobody, so it will go behind for a 16-yard hit. You do feel like a goal either way would blow the roof off this place. It does. There is an air of expectation around the State Hockey Centre at the moment.
Yes. They've had some adversity, Port Adelaide, with a few injuries to key players, but they are just amazing as a club at converting grand finals into premierships. They just have this X factor about them as a club. They have always been really good at just getting their way to the grand final and then finding something extra. And this is as close as it's going to get this year. Port Adelaide have had a couple of games where they've been down to Adelaide, but have fought back. So they are also a come from behind sort of team.
I think the first goal in this one will be massive. I think if the first goal goes Port Adelaide's way, there'll be a little bit of not again from Adelaide. If the first goal goes to Adelaide, you will. And I spoke to Sarah Harrison about whether they think about 8 in a row, whether they think about the record. And she said, well, it's always in the back of your mind, and you don't want to be the team that stops, that loses, that ends the streak. You know, you don't want to be the trivia question.
No.
So if Adelaide were to get the first goal, that thought may get a little bit bigger.
Yes. I mean, some people talk about premierships being determined by your bottom 6, you know, and how strong and deep your list goes. But Sarah Harrison is a warrior. She's a fighter, and she will be doing everything she can to get them across the line.
Good overhead from Gris, just couldn't be brought under control by Georgie Bridgeland, so Port Adelaide again can release the pressure.
Looks like Adelaide's trying to encourage them to go out wide, so Carly's...
Spano does cut it off. Now they can attack the circle. They get a circle entry, but it's ineffective at the moment. How's the chase? Chase is good enough. Shand just can't get it under control. Again, just the control of the Adelaide players, just letting them down a little bit. They're getting into areas and can't find the last pass.
And there's the turnover, caused by some good work on the press by Carly Hoffman.
I think the press is really interesting because there's no team in the world that could do it for 4 quarters. Spano works to the baseline. Has it knocked away, so gets the long corner. You've got to pick and choose when you press because no team in the world could do it for 4 quarters.
Absolutely. And so they have all sort of code names and signals, but Gris drives
sends
it in.
it forward, and then we'll find Spano, who was in position A. Again, just couldn't get it under control.
Yes, basic skills are very important at this point, just to get a circle outcome. Keep the stick on the ball, hopefully find a foot.
Overhead is good and finds its way through. Chase for Nolan. Slipped inside, and Cooper's going to come across and tidy it up. Sends it out towards Nolan and goes behind, so it will be a long corner.
We can see how tight people are marking in the circle. Lots of rubbernecking, as they call it, checking in on the player, checking in on the ball.
Shand takes over and tries to find Spano, couldn't, comes off the foot.
Appleyard, the younger Lindsay, goes out wide to Belton.
Stolen, intercepted by Spano. She's got a long, long way to go and a lot of black and white shirts ahead of her. She does manage to find an outlet though. And Eliza Gray, then gets it back. Carter, back to Spano. Advantage is there, but then it's knocked away. I think she would have got the long corner if she needed it.
Good patience there by Tape just to see the ball out. Safety first for a defender.
Gray just couldn't quite get there. And they will send it forward. It's too far for Cooper, but also too far for Beck Anderson. And Beck Anderson seems to be given the high striker role for Port Adelaide today. Can be a thankless task at times.
Absolutely. And she's an Australian over 35s player, a fantastic hockey citizen, does a lot of underage coaching and state team coaching, so still getting around and doing her job effectively as a Premier League player.
Cooper comes near side to Gray. Gray then goes down the line. So one-on-one battle and Spano loses out. Questions Lockie Pole, but doesn't get there. Gets a stick on that though. Finds his way into midfield to Harrison. Shand works hard and gets the free hit.
That's a big moment, Dave. That's a big moment of the two midfielders.
It was a little mini duel, and that one was won by Hattie Shand. Carter trying her best to turn, blocked off, so can go, does go. Then reverses it nicely into the circle. Port Adelaide get their feet out of the way. No, they don't. Penalty corner to Adelaide. Nice little reverse pass from Carter.
Had the courage to play on there, moved the ball the requisite 5 metres and then drove it into Grist, who was patient and found an outcome with a penalty corner.
It was for blocking, I think.
Yes, and a really pivotal one-on-one or 50-50 ball win by Hattie Shand in the midfield there.
Cooper and Shand stand at the top of the battery. Grist is there, late shift. They'll go out towards Cooper. Cooper shifts it to Shand. Shand will fire it a goal. And the gunner in Lindsay Appleyard does enough. Just a bit bobbly. Just never quite got it under control.
Just clean delivery is so important.
Cooper will find Carter. Carter sends it back into the middle. Comes off a Port Adelaide stick so they can rebuild and go again.
So, as we said, Dave, in the first quarter, it was all about how many circle entries and inside 25s, and the tables have turned now with Adelaide, I guess, leading the way in those terms of statistics.
Good challenge, but it works out. Umpires let it go! Oh, Carter was close to that. Well, she was inches away.
That was worth a dive, I think.
Shand.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Oh, well done, Hattie Shand. Gets away from the first. Can she find a pass? She does by way of Spano.
Erin Cameron.
Erin Cameron just can't get it under control. Grand finals can be won and lost on moments, and that was a massive moment. Erin Cameron. Talk about moments. We have the penalty corner save. I think 9 times out of 10 she's probably going to get on her front for that.
Good courage there by Mickey to stand in close to the overhead press.
Gray will pick it up. Try and find something. Finds a way through to Pennington. Pennington reversed it back. Nobody there.
What's been the difference, Dave, in your view, in terms of the greater amount of ball Adelaide are getting?
They've prevented any outlet. There hasn't. Port Adelaide have not been able to. Port Adelaide like to play through the midfield, and they've not been allowed to do that. And that is in no small part, in my opinion, to Hattie Shand, who was bossed that midfield. And we talked about moments in that little duel between Harrison and Shand. To win that. Oh, that was fired forward, and Sarah Harrison nearly wore it.
That's a little sign that they're under pressure when they're having to blast it through traffic. I mean, there's a time to hit long to a target, but at the moment they're just trying to pound it out, which is back to grass hockey tactics, really.
Cooper sends it to Carter. Harrison can't get past Carter.
And as you said, Dave, you can't sustain it, but at the moment the full press is being applied.
Yeah, and yes, but the problem is if they push it for too long, the space will open up around them as they just run out of gas. Port Adelaide will send it to the back. Good control under pressure, and then they have to go back again. Carter chasing down. Appleyard gets it poked away, but it will be a Port Adelaide ball as we approach 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. 5 minutes of the first half of hockey to go. good overhead down the line. Players within 5, so Port Adelaide will get the free hit.
Young Mackenzie Allen's been subbed on, who's an M1's player from earlier today under the 20-minute rule.
Appleyard, great control from Appleyard. Then she'll send it out to the far side. And again, they just question just a little bit too hard to answer. And Adelaide with Beck Nolan will look to control and get them out of there. But it's interesting because we're now in that period. We probably forgot that Adelaide were definitely in that first quarter, and then the last 5 minutes, Port Adelaide found another gear and really ramped up the pressure. It'll be interesting to see whether they do it again.
Absolutely.
Another overhead.
It's interesting to think about how many saves either goalie has had to actually execute.
I can only think of the one so far, and that was the penalty corner.
Exactly.
Wellstead takes it into the 25. Works around the back, Wellstead gets another circle entry. They just try and corral her into a dead end. They're asking for something and they get it. And again, within the final 5 minutes, Port Adelaide get a penalty corner. Just Beck Nolan just couldn't get her feet out the way.
Yes. Wellstead, very powerful on the back stick and an incredibly skillful player. One of the most skillful players in women's hockey in South Australia. Was able to get into a really difficult position in the circle and still drag it backwards and laterally to find a foot.
The Appleyard clan stand at the top of the batteries. Of Anderson and Ford trapping. Injection comes to Appleyard. There is another save. She didn't have to do much, but it's still in there. Appleyard swings around the back, and there will be another one. Eliza Gray. She'll take that, though, you think?
Good save. Stood up, got the pads together, and a little bit of a bouncy ball, so had to get right behind it. And interestingly, they went to battery 2 that time for the Lindsay flick.
Wellstead injection. Anderson and Ford again. And the Appleyards again. 3-1 on the line for Adelaide. This time they go to Brook, bouncing around. Brook does well, gets away from the first one. Then it's poked away, but there's another foot. So another short is starting to rack up for Adelaide. I think it's just going to be rinse and repeat.
The Appleyard sisters.
Wellstead again. This time they come to Lindsay. Better. Lindsay will flick towards goal. Shand gets a stick on it. And they will get a relieving free hit. Cooper, near side. Turns inside. Sophie Fry can't find a way out then. Appleyard sends it forward to Anderson. Again, just a little bit too far in front of Mackenzie Allen.
That variation was the slider, where they were looking to put it out right for a deflection. Didn't quite have enough speed on it, but Adelaide would be happy to weather the storm there, and they now have the ball for an outlet on the 16.
Weather the storm they did, but this is when we saw Port Adelaide just keep Adelaide in their own half, and the last 5 minutes of the first quarter, they really started to turn the screw. Down the line again to Anderson. Anderson beats the first one and gets the free hit.
Shout out to Maddie Cunningham watching from New Zealand.
Kia ora and welcome. Harrison flicks it towards the circle. Too high though.
Grist has moved back into the back 3, back 4.
No wonder you gave him a shout out. That's a hell of a compliment he's paid you.
Well, you've got to look after your mates, don't you?
That's Appleyard to Harrison. Grist blocks her, but she will not be stopped, then gets the free hit. Back to Appleyard. Appleyard sends it forward. Gray got her feet out of the way that time, all stick. And Wellstead. Time runs out, so we are all square at half time. The 2019 Premier League Grand Final is all square at half time. We will take a short break and we'll be back with you for quarter number 3. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Quarter number 3, the Premiership quarters. 2 more quarters of 17 minutes to go. If it stays this way, there will be extra time, golden goal extra time. And if we can't get anything after that extra time, then we will go to the dreaded one-on-ones.
Both teams would have been practicing their one-on-ones, both the strikers and the goalies this week, just in preparation. It can make or break a tournament.
Cooper again will send it forward. Good control just outside the circle. Does get a circle entry. Spanner was there. Just went at it. And the first real action that Emma Verrill has seen this afternoon, but now Porter away.
Crucial.
Nolan is there and just gets rid of it.
Yes, Verrill handled that well. Didn't overplay it. Just put it away from the 8-yard zone, the hot spot we call it, and Port were there to mop up. But it's interesting just getting the ball goalwards for the first time for Adelaide.
Well, it's the first time we've seen Mickey Spanner get a shot away. That one will pop up in the air and Georgie Bringelin will bring it down. Then try and find a forward ball for Spano. Spano will go after it, but she will be beaten to it by Celeste Ford. And they'll get the free hit. Chloe Dawes was the person I was trying to remember. She played M1s today. Tall, rangy striker.
Yes.
And I feel that that's something that Port Adelaide so far in this game are missing. A real high striker who's a threat to stretch Adelaide out. Harrison.
So the missing striker from last year's premiership lineup is Courtney Rudd, who's moved to Melbourne. So yeah, it will be interesting to see that. It's still the highest goal scoring team in the league, but one powerful striker can make all the difference.
It's a big, big out for the season, really. I think tactically between these two coaches, it's been an intriguing battle so far. Fired forward again, and they do get a shot on target. And Wellstead will break the stalemate. And Port Adelaide go one in front.
The chaos ball into the circle, popped loose. Leah would have been licking her lips at that. It's absolutely fallen beautifully on her reverse stick, and she's mopped up.
Well, Leah Wellstead. Grist will poke it away. Trying to go forward, then they'll find Spano. Spano tries to get round the back, does get round the back. Question of whether there was a foot in there, but nothing other than the sideline. So we see the goal again. Steph Fisher got a foot to it, but too strong.
Yes. Savable possibly, but
Shand will find Spano. Spano does go to ground, and the last stick is Spano, so 16-yard hit. And just like that, the game has been opened up. And now Adelaide have to attack. Grist. Door shut by Appleyard. Wanted more time than she had. Would you change anything tactically if you were the Adelaide coach now?
my only thoughts were that they were really suffocating Port when they went into a full press. So it's time now to go to that full press again and actually attack through the T-spots, where the circle meets the baseline.
Good from Gray, beats two players, finds Grist. Grist just hung it behind Erin Cameron. But again, it's turned over and Shand will look for a pass towards Spano. Spano again out there. Port will be happy to see her running around out there. Has a lot of work to do, gets the free hit at least, then will play on. Looked into the circle, looked like there was a foot in the circle.
Dave, it does look like Adelaide have gone up a gear. That goal has shocked them into action.
Yeah.
Grist has suddenly lifted her work rate. Spano's lifted her work rate, and there's a real urgency about their intent on getting the ball forward at the moment.
Cooper goes back to Shand. Shand will chop it forwards, but dangerously, so another free hit to Port Adelaide to allow them to release the pressure. There was a long discussion as to whether there was a foot in there, but umpires decided there wasn't. Sent up the line again. Game is starting to stretch out a little bit. Advantage for the foot.
Higgins, quite a clever striker for Port.
Wellstead into Harrison. Happy to go backwards. Appleyard directing traffic. Out to tape.
Grist working hard in the press.
Appleyard sends it forward. Cooper will cut it out. Nice, almost into play, and then Wellstead will pick it up. Harrison again. Harrison versus Shand, and Shand wins one again.
Crucial.
And gets the free hit out of it. Gray sends it towards Grist, too far in front of Grist though. You ask a lot of these high strikers.
Yeah, interestingly, Grist has gone from AM into the striker line, and it's, I guess, her turn to do the hard work on the press.
Overhead. Illegal challenge again, so Port Adelaide will get the free hit just inside the Adelaide half. Brooke Appleyard leaves it to her sister. Didn't quite get hold of the overhead, allows Shan to come away. Another good challenge from Harrison. Again, Adelaide trying to work down this near side, the right-hand flank, and again, Harrison is moved across here. Gray fires it down the line.
I think you're right, Dave. I think they've put her out here because they've identified that Adelaide's focusing on a right side attack, and she is doing a great job.
Sent forward, gets one stick on it, but it's going to find a way through. Nolan has to get after it. Taking on Mallison. Mallison does well. Then back to the top to Anderson. Excellent challenge at the top of the circle from Lauren Mutton, but it will be a corner to Adelaide. Time is in the hands of Port Adelaide now, and very experienced heads on shoulders. As I say that, Brooke Appleyard gives it away. Spano happy to just get rid of it and be able to reset.
So while the ball's being retrieved, Adelaide and Port Adelaide are being accountable for their relative positions. And as you said, Dave, individual moments of brilliance can make the difference. Both teams just have to focus on doing the basics well. A missed trap at a crucial time or an overcommitment on a tackle can make the whole difference.
So Mutton will stand over it. Oh, she got away with one. She sent it lazily down the line. Bridgeland has it taken away from her, but Mutton again will go and get it. Back to Gray, to Shand. Shand will send it down the line. Just couldn't quite get it under control. Maddie Spano. All happy to go back. Spano working the press now. Pennington pushing hard as well, but Port Adelaide trying and get out with Appleyard. Concedes the free hit. Shand will go. Cooper to Gray. Gray will carry into the 25. Can't get away, and ball gets poked onto her feet, and again Port Adelaide can pump the brakes, relieve the pressure.
Mallinson off for Anderson. So both teams making interchanges during the stoppage. Emily Grist, crucial to the Adelaide lineup, comes back on for Ali Pennington and goes up into the right-hand striker position. Shave tackle from Spano.
Lost the stick though. Port Adelaide almost setting up a wall on the 25-metre line and then just not allowing Adelaide through it. And they can't find a way through.
Yes, it is a challenge at the moment. And the fact that there's been very few saves sort of indicates how much it's been played between the two 25s.
Gray sends it to Cooper. Cooper just gets blocked and it will go forward to Anderson. Anderson turns it over to Mutton. Harrison uncharacteristically lose control. Cooper gets away. Harrison comes back, knocks it away. Cooper has to go and get it. Into the corner to Grist. Grist looks to get it towards goal. Sends it in field, finds Hoffman. Loses control and it'll be another 16-yard hit.
So ball getting into the circle for Adelaide, but not looking particularly threatening at this stage.
Fired forward again. Grist managed to get in the way. Shand against Harrison again. This time Harrison gets the better of it. Appleyard has to play on. Again, we'll get the free hit and then just lifts it down the line. Nolan. Good again, Beck Nolan. Just turned over to Anderson. Out to the far side. Rolls into the side and Gray will have to go and get it. Beck Nolan has been an absolute cornerstone for Adelaide so far in this game.
Absolutely. Really calm and composed and safe down at the back.
Turned over again, just outside the 25. Port Adelaide again looking dangerous. Again they will get a circle entry. Mutton knocks it away. And manages to get it off a Port Adelaide stick. Three minutes to go in the third quarter. Fired down towards Spano.
Great trap by Spano. Good control with very limited space.
Appleyard took it off, but umpire's not happy with it. Cooper to Spano. Again, excellent work from Harrison. Strides forward, then finds Anderson. They'll send it back and another free hit. Jet Mallison managing to work it out. Ball towards Anderson and Nolan again. Right place at the right time.
Good chase by Mickey Spano then when she was beaten. Did the work to get back. Good discipline.
Spano again, anywhere will do. Just wants Adelaide to be able to reset. Port Adelaide now starting to look comfortable. And again, in the end of the third quarter, the final 5 minutes red time, they find an extra gear and they put more pressure on.
So Shand at the moment on Brooke Appleyard, Erin on Sarah Harrison, Erin Cameron, and Mickey playing that centre striker role.
Cut out again by Carter. Nolan will take over. All very untidy, and Adelaide will get the free hit. Grist will go. Tries to find a way through, and again they can't find a way through, and they have to settle for bringing it back in from the sideline. Allowing Port Adelaide to set up a wall, every single Port Adelaide player within 25 metres. So Harrison has an absolute mile to go on her own, and she'll win the free hit, which will allow them to get out. Again, a little bit of a different feeling last year when we saw Port Adelaide go one in front. They really did put the foot on the throat. Now you feel them sitting back a little bit.
Absolutely.
Down towards Shand, inside the 25. Cannot get away from Appleyard. Appleyard then will stride forward and gets the free hit.
Last 30 seconds. Will they try the crash ball again into the circle?
It worked for them last time.
And that will be the end of this quarter.
Yeah, no one in any great rush to go and get it. So, 17 minutes to go. The last time the coaches get them. Paul Finney will obviously be the happier of the two.
And really the only difference was that crash ball down the corridor into the circle. It popped free, and from about 10 or 12 yards out, a very neat tomahawk by Leah Wellstead into the bottom right. Probably savable in hindsight. Well, it obviously was going pretty quick, but Steph would probably like to have another go at that if she could. It definitely took a foot.
Interestingly, just looking at the body language as they came in, Port Adelaide, been there, done that. They're all very happy. Adelaide, kind of the same, been there, done that. They kind of wandered in as if to say, what do we have to do? It's now the coach's job to make them forget that and just go and play the hockey that they've been playing. But Port Adelaide, again, just look unbeatable at times.
Absolutely, and it's interesting that a few months ago I commentated on a game between the Strikers and the Pirates, or I think the Saints and the Pirates at that stage.
Which is essentially these two teams.
These two teams, and the Saints in the blue versus the Pirates in the red. The team on the left of screen were the more dominant team, the fitter, more cohesive team, but you put the black and white stripes on these girls and something happens.
Something about the last Saturday of the season from the girls from Port Adelaide. Just something there. And just seen Mickey Spano come off. She's going to start this fourth quarter on the bench and just exhaled as she went out as if to say, what do I have to do? She's been starved of any opportunity today. And again, that's good coaching by Paul Finney and good execution by the Port Adelaide team.
Absolutely. Adelaide chasing the game at this stage.
It's sent all the way back into the corner, which will allow Port Adelaide to just build a black and white ring around this.
Adelaide probably need to throw caution to the wind here and get that ball forward at all costs.
Wonderful control out of the air, and then just tripped herself up. Appleyard to Wellstead. Wellstead works towards the byline, has to come back inside. And gets the free hitch, backed in. Cooper.
Grist receives closed and then rolls out towards the left-hand sideline.
Gets around the back. Just couldn't find anything in the middle, and there wasn't many options there for her.
Port Adelaide looking rather composed at the moment. They're good at transferring the ball laterally on outlets.
And again, now they're in no rush. The clock is their friend. Bless you. Harrison. Out to this near side. Then they manage to roll around the corner. Cooper comes across to try and close it down. Gets there. Has two for company. Has to try and find a way out or through.
Great 3D skills by Melody Cooper.
She looked imploringly at Michael Stark and got the answer she wanted. Harrison again will cut it out, but Grist gets it back. Has to come back to Erin Cameron. Gives it back to Grist. Good challenge again. Nicola Higgins looking for an outlet. Finds one to Appleyard. Fired forward again. Adelaide turn it over. Higher up than they normally do. Can't find a way through Appleyard again. Shand does find a way through. Now they're open on this right-hand side, but just couldn't find the pass. Too far in front of Erin Cameron.
So this is the time where we just need to really watch the 50-50 battles between the key players on the field. This is about winning your 50-50, winning your position, being effective in your role.
Well, so far, Brooke Appleyard is now starting to just assert her dominance in the middle of the field. Gray will fire it forward, comes off Lindsay Appleyard's stick. Leah Wellstead couldn't keep it in, so it will be a long corner. But Brooke Appleyard now is starting to take the reins of this game.
Brooks on the hot line, the line between the ball and the goal, so commanding traffic at the moment.
Gray just sends it forward, will get a circle entry out of it. Brooke Appleyard will find a foot. They say that pressure makes diamonds. Harrison. Anderson goes and gets it, gives it back to Harrison. Couldn't quite get away, but they will get the ball back. Mickey Spano looks like she's going to come back in with 13 minutes to go. I know that Mr. Nankey's down in the Adelaide, on the Adelaide bench. I would be intrigued to know how many shots on target there's been today. I think it feels like there's just, well, 3 that I can remember.
Absolutely remarkable, really, for a game involving this many quality players and strikers. Probably indicative of the strength of both defences.
So Port Adelaide again with Tape. Talia Tape wanders over there, leaves it for Lindsay Appleyard. She'll go overhead down the line. And Adelaide will be able to rebuild from just inside the Port Adelaide half.
12 minutes left. And Mickey Spano comes back on for Carly Hoffman. Picked up by Bridget Belton, I believe.
Nolan sends it near side to Gray. Gray will send it down the line to Shand. Shand didn't keep it in. Borderline for 9. Well, Adelaide go down the line again, and that one refused to go out, so will be a 16-yard hit. It looks like they've given Chloe Carter and Nikki Spano a rest and then let them go with little over 10 minutes to go and said, give everything you've got, ladies.
I think you're right. That is fantastic strategy by Minnie Gobelos, chasing the game.
Appleyard will get a circle entry again.
So good defence by Erin Cameron, not overcommitting, just keeping the stick down in the eyesight of the person, keeping their eyes down. In that case, Brooke Appleyard's eyes down.
Ford tries to find a way through, can't find a way through, and Shand will give up a free hit. So it just became a long corner. Couldn't find a way through. Celeste Ford, and we've got that weird atmosphere again with just the 1 goal lead. Cooper will stand over it. Out to Gray. Too high, so Port will get to go, and Wellstead will beat one, then send it back to Appleyard, poked away by Spano. Shand gives it back to Spano. Spano will take on Harrison. Can't get away from Appleyard though. Someone. So Brooke Appleyard gets the green card. Not sure why, it seemed a long way behind play.
Might have been a little physical encounter there with Hattie Shand in the middle.
But it's still a Port Adelaide free hit.
So Port drop a striker back to have an additional midfielder. So they're playing with 2 strikers at the moment.
I was about to say, can they make the extra players count? They can't if they're going to give it straight to Wellstead. Wellstead now bearing down on goal, gets to the byline, tries to pull it back, does pull it back. Again, Nolan is there. Penalty corner.
What a turn of speed by Leah Wellstead. Drove into the circle on the 45, kept driving for the circle and then pulled it back against the tide. Really hard to read when your body weight's going left and you've got to protect the right side of your body.
So good with the ball on the end of her stick, Leah Wellstead. Double battery again. They will go to Appleyard, who just pulls it wide. It's the cleanest trap we've seen. It actually allowed Appleyard to get the drag flick, but just dragged it a little bit too much.
So Paul Finney calling it there. They're falling away in their press now, letting Adelaide come at them and condensing their defence.
Spano turns, carries towards the 25. Challenge is good. Port Adelaide come away again. She's ploughing a lone furrow out there. Done very well so far though. And then sent it across towards Harrison and we're back to parity. So Adelaide could not make the extra player count.
7 minutes to go. Port back to 11 players. Both teams pretty much at full strength, I'd say.
Someone hit that back line, please. Someone hit the back line.
Tape will stand over it. Doesn't find a way through. Shand has Harrison coming back. Harrison will knock it away, but Shand gets back. Punch, counter punch from the midfield duo. Spano sends it towards Cooper. Cooper manages to bring it under control. Big, strong challenge from Celeste Ford. Just the free hit. Cooper surveys her options. Tries to beat Ford again around the back. Can't quite get there. Shan sends it into the middle to Spano. Spano fires it again. Spano equalises. The first time that she's been given time and space in the circle, and she makes the Magpies pay. I tell you what, you have to take your hat off to the work that Melody Cooper did down in that corner.
Incredible goal, and the fact that Melody went forward from a back 3 player, created a little lift, got it back to Shand, who put it to that disciplined spot, put it to the hot spot. And we have a game on our hands. 5 minutes to go.
You see how much it meant with the celebration from Spano. A big character test for Port Adelaide now. Wellstead again. Sends it forward. Can't get it back. Spano concedes the free hit.
Adelaide trying to get numbers behind the ball, but Appleyard playing on quickly. Harrison ghosting up to the top of the circle.
Fired toward the circle, stopped just outside by Cooper. Spano again will knock it away. just ticked over 5 minutes to go of regular time. Adelaide now will get an ability to try and play out a defence.
Carter going well forward to try to stretch out the Port Adelaide defence.
Cooper just sends it forward. Appleyard will get a stick on it. Spano battles with her and wins the free hit.
So there's a little momentum shift at the moment.
There is, and it's massive, and that Adelaide crowd on the hill is trying to carry this Adelaide team over the line. But Port Adelaide, far too experienced to let that affect them. 4 minutes to go. Blocked off the run, so Port Adelaide again can go. Sent down into the corner and just couldn't quite get there.
3 minutes, and then we go to 7.5 minutes. What an acute angle that was on the replay. Mickey threaded the needle, does a lot of work from shooting from the baseline with the SASI program coach, Tim White.
Scored 23 goals this season. She would have given every single one of them back for that one.
Verrill went into blocking mode, sort of lost her stance and committed to the hit that was straight at her. So incredible shot to get it through the gap.
This is a dangerous time when Port Adelaide have shown that they are absolutely relentless and ruthless in red time at the end of a quarter. Adelaide will be able to get it away. Fittingly, Beck Nolden can go over and get there and relieve the pressure. Port Adelaide will just build a ring of black and white around her though. Has to just fire it down the line, can't get it away. Shand will poke it away from the stick of Harrison. Harrison will now go into the 25. They will get a circle entry. Spano manages to get it away. Shand wanted too long, had it poked away. Shand to Spano. Spano will turn back and then just fire it down the line. 2 minutes and change to go.
Spano and Shand. We've seen that combination a number of times today, those little 5-metre passes, just working, building up small games. And they are working hard. Both teams are...
So there's the Port Adelaide corner. They must be well behaved this year. They normally don't get on camera. They must be being well behaved. Sent into the middle again. Ellie Pennington just got a stick on it, but Port can go again. 1:45 to go. Sent forward. Cooper gets in the way. Working hard to just try and find a way through. Not happy to just slash it away. Cooper and Grist working in that bottom corner. Turned it over, but illegally. So Adelaide, can they launch another attack from here?
I'd say Spano's going to go fairly hard here. Sorry, not Spano, Kiwi. No, she goes short to Grist.
And turns it over. Just over a minute to go. Port Adelaide sends it down the line. And they get the free hit. And they're away.
Harrison
will roll it round the back to Appleyard. Appleyard looks for a circle entry. Appleyard fires it, pulls it, couldn't get it on target. Tell you what, if that had got on target, there would have been some Adelaide hearts in mouths. And as things stand, it'll go for a 16-yard.
Finney asking for a narrow press, conceding the sides.
Gray beats one, beats two. Can she find an outlet? Spano working hard to get up, but Lindsay Appleyard will take it off her, and Shand will win it back illegally. Do they have time to get it in there? 10 seconds to go.
Here comes the crash ball.
It's just got to go anywhere on goal. Hope that somebody can get something. Spano will just stand in the way. That will be that. Someone's got a green card. I don't know We'll have to keep an eye on that. We won't go anywhere. We're going to stay with you. I think I did have a chat with Lockie Pole. I got caught out in rugby this year as to what happened. So I've been handed the stuff. I think we have a 2-minute break, and then we go to 2 7-minute periods with a 2-minute break in between them. If we are still all tied up after that, then we go to one-on-ones.
So it's important to point out that the first team to score in this
It is golden goal, yes.
is the Premier. And there are some nervous-looking faces down in both dugouts, as we can see the footage. Kindly supplied by Sportsquake.
Spacequake.
Spacequake.
Close enough. you, to be honest, you're not a Spacequaker until you've said the name wrong. Everyone's done it.
Welcome to the jungle.
You're here now. Funnily enough, Port Adelaide have just disappeared underneath us. We can't see them, so I can't read their body language. Adelaide, it's a real interesting one, isn't it? Because Adelaide have come back, but all of that momentum now has been wrested. It's gone from them. There are Port Adelaide. They look perfectly calm, perfectly happy. Looks like there's some lollies gone in somewhere.
They've been here before. They've come back a few times from behind this year against a couple of different opponents, and it will be a fascinating golden goal period.
They won in extra time in one of the finals games, didn't they? Was it the first round of the finals they won in extra time?
A fortnight ago, it was 1-1 at full time, and Grist scored from the northern end deep towards the baseline. So this is what put Adelaide into the grand final against Port a fortnight ago. Who will have the courage to go forward and throw caution to the wind for that elusive goal?
Well, Adelaide are out and ready to go, and it's as we said, they're the ones with the momentum. They're the ones who want to go. They're the ones who want to be out there. Port making them wait. If there is a time, and you did say that, you know, the thing about grand finals is your worst 6 have got to be the best that they can be. But at this point, you would say Brooke Appleyard, Lindsay Appleyard, Sarah Harrison, Leah Wellstead, Emma Verrill, they need to step up now. That is an incredibly experienced lineup of names that I've said. If you look on the other side of the coin with Adelaide, Melody Cooper and Emily Grist, massive experience. And then you've got your youngsters coming through with Hattie Shang, Eliza Gray, and
Hoffman,
Nikki Spano. It doesn't feel as experienced at this point.
And fatigue has to come into it. All that work that they do in the pre-season, all that work that they do through the winter to keep themselves fit, this will come home now. 15 minutes beyond normal time.
Appleyard has it stolen away by Spano. Spano will stride forward, finds a nice little inside ball. Massive challenge outside the circle. Spano carries on. Spano will work to the byline. Gets it knocked away in a corner.
That was an exciting start.
Jeez. So it will be a long corner. Cooper will stand over it. Talk about the cream rising to the top when it needs to. Melody Cooper really took the game by the scruff of the neck, put herself up front, set up the goal. Now she's going to stand over this. Sends it out to Gray. Gray against Appleyard. Appleyard is good. Clears it, Shand. Stops it being cleared too far, and now Cooper again. Looks to carry. Brooke Appleyard this time will shut it down. Then Harrison. Tries to find a way through again. This time they are able to get the possession. You have just pointed out, and I do need to point it out, the Steph Fisher is concentrating from, what, 75 metres out. Normally you'd look away to your right and find a goalkeeper just counting daisies. Not today.
She's in the stance.
They're away again. Harrison does find a pass through. Then they will find Wellstead. Wellstead one-on-one with Nolan. Gets the circle entry. Manages to come back, and Shand Gets it off a foot. Cooper again, out to Gray. So the ball slow to come back. Port Adelaide can launch from around halfway. Down the line to Harrison. Harrison manages to keep it in, gets into the 25. Harrison ranging forward, stops, comes back, gets a circle entry. Inches away from the end of the stick of Wellstead. We talked about it in the first half with Chloe Carter. I think if Wellstead has that again, she would be going horizontal. Cooper picks a pass to Spano.
Gee, that's rare to get a ball down the middle that easy.
Spano just dumped it into the corner. It's being chased by Grist.
So Spano's done that a number of times. I think she's looking to just help her team set up a pocket press.
So Adelaide will look to press. There is a high striker up, but Mutton is with her. Trying to find a way through. They can't find a way through. Appleyard will take over, and they get the free hit. And Appleyard can stand over it. 3.5 minutes to go in the first period. Gray has to go and get it. Does get it. Plays down the line, knocked away by Harrison, but it will be a Adelaide ball.
Carter is deliberately floating around, moving both defenders around, playing really deep, trying to be that irritable, distracting high striker.
And here she is. Carter will pick it up. Corralled into the corner. Manages to keep it in. Gets it knocked away, but Carter is still going after it. Finally, she gets some level of reward for her hard work. Interestingly, as Carter was taking all the attention, Ali Pennington ghosted in. Cooper. Cooper has that knocked away. Again, we get a strange silence over the State Hockey Centre where nobody wants to lose it. This is where we are now. People don't want to lose rather than go and win it. Cooper again. Can't get it past Harrison. Harrison will get the free hit.
So does Port Adelaide retain their composure and try to pass it out of here, or try to blast through traffic? Because Adelaide are setting up a fairly tight checkerboard press.
Oh, that's a risky ball as Carter goes after it, but they do manage to get away. Tate fires it forward. Mutton gets a stick on it, but not enough, and then has to go back and get it. And they get the free hit. Mutton to Spano. Spano will beat one. Can't get away from Appleyard. Excellent stick from Shand. Shand can now get her head up. Lifted, and it free hit to Adelaide. Looking for the baseline. Gets it knocked away, long corner. Gray will take control. Has Cooper if she wants to. She decides to go into the corner to Carter. Carter again having to do the hard yards down in that corner. Gets the free hit, goes. Gets into the circle towards Spano. Turned away, and again Port Adelaide can relieve the pressure, and it is pressure. 45 seconds to go. Sends it towards Tate, just away from the outside stick of Spano. They will get another go, 30 seconds to go. Free hit on halfway. Sent down the line, off the foot of Wellstead.
One striker in the circle at this moment, but Christie working her way in.
Fired towards the circle, off the legs of Appleyard, just outside, and then sent away in a penalty corner. Penalty corner given against Lindsay Appleyard. Time will expire. There are questions of Lockie Pole. She's hit the ball away after she's conceded just outside the circle. Lockie Pole has given the penalty corner. It seemed almost immediate. So time has expired. Double battery. Cooper and Shand will sit at the top. Spano is a slip pass near side. Late shift again. They come to Spano. Spano gets a shot on goal. Amazing stick from Harrison. It's still live. It's still in there. Fired again at goal. Half time. In extra time. It kept going and going and going. Sarah Harrison of Port Adelaide come away with the prize today. She will be given the freedom of Port Adelaide.
Well, that was an intriguing last few minutes.
I have to say, the neutral in me is pleased that it didn't end on that.
No, you don't want contention.
No. I understand. It felt like it was immediate. She didn't, it's hard to tell, but I think she did know. She knew she'd conceded the free hit. She got the ball as far away. Don't mind that decision, but it's a good job that we didn't end the grand final on that contentious decision.
True.
So, we will swap around.
7.5 minutes.
And then one-on-ones, and I will have to take my shoes off because honestly, I've done one-on-ones a couple of times. They still confuse me. So Adelaide will start with it. 7.5 minutes to go.
Shand at centre half, I should say, playing a really good role.
We're waiting for Lockie Pole to just do his laces up, just building the tension some more. Lockie.
Brooke Appleyard, her opposite number.
So Cooper tries to come to this near side. Grist stole it away, but illegally. Tape sends it forward. Just too far in front again. So it will be an Adelaide ball. And again, Port Adelaide can build a wall. High strikers now are Carly Hoffman and M. Grist is up there. They're wandering back towards halfway now. Port Adelaide. Wellstead lost it, but there's a foot in it. Wellstead again. Beats one and wins the free hit. Wellstead will go. Gets to the byline. Corralled into touch by Aaron Cameron, but it will be a long corner. Spano beats one. Has Harrison for company. Harrison will stand strong, and then the combination of Harrison and Appleyard stop them, and then they can come away. Near side to Beck Anderson. She will pick a pass. They will look to get another circle entry. Mallinson. And they will concede a free hit. Mullinson has been very, very quiet today. Melody Cooper stands over it.
Hoffman forward at the far end.
Short sticks it towards halfway, and Lindsay Appleyard happy to go back to Ford. Near side to Tate. They will get the free hit. Again sends it forward. Finds a Port Adelaide stick. Looks for the overlap. Gets the overlap. Cooper comes across. Gets rid of the danger.
Good courage by Cooper to keep her eyes on the ball there. Dispatch it wide.
Again fired forward and across the face of goal. No one got anything on it. He's brave to go in there where the sticks are flying. Changes even at this late stage. Cooper again will take control from the back. Chloe Carter sneaking away forward. Appleyard comes off her stick. Lindsay Appleyard gets it. There is Chloe Carter. Almost picking the pocket of Lindsay Appleyard. Too experienced, too good. Shand comes across. There's a free hit there though. Harrison goes. Then there's another one. Appleyard goes again into the 25. Little reverse pass. Shand, anywhere will do for the red, white and blue at that point.
It's been a bit of a physical encounter. Nothing malicious or, you know, but they're hard at it. They really want the ball.
Port Adelaide ball again. I was going to say that would be the first time since I've started watching hockey that an umpire would let that be played that far away.
Yes, normally they bring it back, but they've both let it play on a fair bit.
They have, and I don't mind it.
Yep.
Again, Port Adelaide trying to find a way through the 25. Spano has to go and get it. There we see that physicality. Harrison lifts it towards the circle. Pulled back, and Shand again will get a valid interception. Carter couldn't keep it in.
Both teams playing on very quickly.
Lindsay Appleyard sends it forward. Off the foot of Shand. Harrison goes quickly. They do get another circle entry. It goes across the face of goal. And another relieving free hit.
Reverse Toma and a good pad save by Steffi, but very, very good to get a shot away from that difficult angle. Back the stick, we think.
2.5 minutes to go, and Cooper will just fire it out near side. Can't get there.
Both teams absolutely running on empty. It's a battle of wheels now.
Shand sends it out to Grist. Grist will turn, gets across halfway, tries to knock it away, and still going, Emily Grist. Across the 25. Back. Gets it across the front. Lindsay Appleyard gets in the way, and it'll be a free hit.
1 minute 50. Every individual action counts. Every trap, every dive. Oh, and that's unexpected. A turnover to Adelaide on the right side. Will they go quickly?
A minute and a half to go. Cooper will stand over it. Sends it forward. Shand manages to turn around the corner. Can't get past Lindsay Appleyard. Lindsay Appleyard will turn it over to Shand. Shand works hard. Gets the free hit just outside the circle. Now there's a chaos ball! And Adelaide on a big post to score! In the dying moments of the second half, and the golden goal for Adelaide will break the hearts of Port Adelaide. 7 years they have won it. They cannot make it 8. And Adelaide, after 3 years of asking, finally get there.
brilliance. Shan just had that second, third, fourth effort to get the ball forward, drove it in across the face of goal, and Erin Cameron was there for that simple tap in. Shan was relentless then.
Just watch it again, and it's just that chaos ball, and she was completely unmarked at the back. Sally Pennington with the ball to the back post, and I tell you what, she's picked that pass. She's picked that pass. And Adelaide have been asking the question year after year after year, and finally they get an answer. Port Adelaide, look, you have to take your hat off to Port Adelaide. 7 in a row before today.
What an incredible era they've had. Just some fantastic hockey names. Harrison, the Appleyard girls from Whyalla, phenomenal players.
But tonight is about Adelaide. And you are quite right. If you were looking at best on ground today, Hattie Shand would be up there. But massive, massive stage from Steph Fisher in the first half. Melody Cooper took the game by the scruff of the neck in the fourth quarter, set up the goal. But for me, Beck Nolan did not put a foot wrong all day and deserves a standing ovation.
I agree wholeheartedly. Interestingly, 2 of our oldest players in Beck Nolan and Melody Cooper in the back line, and they got the job done today. They were absolutely dour in defence.
So ladies and gentlemen, we will step away. We will get ready for the Premier League men's final. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Premier League Women's Championship, Adelaide Hockey Club